G'day friends and fans, welcome to Dave Talk Stuff Ukraine War update for the 18th of February 2026. I'm your host, the author, David Applegate. The Ukraine war continues. Russia has attacked Ukraine, of course, with drones and missiles, and Ukraine, of course, has attacked Russia with drones and missiles. Of course, the difference is when Ukraine is attacked, Russia doesn't make a song and a dance act, but when Ukraine attacks Russia, they dance around claiming victory, claim they're fighting the aggressors. They make a song and dance act, right? They're children, right? They're narcissistic children, right? Thinking they're clever, they're funny, I got you. They're the asshole who throws a snowball at you and then laughs, and dances around claiming victory. And then when you hit them with a snowball, they go crying, "Mommy, he hit me with a snowball!" Now, Russia's fighting on multiple fronts and is slowly winning. But this grind is slow, and in many places there's no advance. Some of them are mere probing attacks, but so far nothing of significance. But the offensive at Lyman is yet to bear fruit. Drone and missile strikes have slowed the Ukrainian progress, keeping them from actually being able to mount any offensive. Now, here and there, the Russians have made small gains and a few little breakthroughs. But the big offensive at Konstantinovia has yet to materialize. There is fighting in different areas, but again, it could be the weather. Now, of course, Russia's made advances in some areas, but in many areas they are still stalling. The bear trap of Pavlovsk continues to go off. And like I said, Ukraine has finally admitted that the Russians have taken Pavlovsk. Right, and battles in other areas continues. The Russians have made some advances, not many. And then nothing of significance has fallen to the Russians in the last 24 hours. However, they are engaged in a push. This is to close the gap here and the push here. Again, very slow, very slow. It does not actually seem to be Russia wanting to push through. I thought they would push through to here and then come down, sweep through, like in a curve, or come straight across. It doesn't seem to be either way. It just seems to be flat right now, and then it seems to be push here to fill this gap in. Now, this could be some part of some red line we don't know about, but it's more likely that Russia is prioritizing what they can achieve rather than trying to meet some political / PR goals, right, which would cost them more in the long run, right? They're looking at what they can not just take, but what they can hold. Now, Ukraine's been hit by a drone strike, which left a lot of damage in its wake. They hit the Sloviansk thermal power station. Peace talks continue. Diplomats trying to get their way onto the are fighting to not get on Trump's peace board. And again, bunch of cowards. They don't put their money where their mouth is. They don't want peace, right? French authorities have had to release a Russian ship after it paid its fine. We don't know what for. It's just a shakedown, I suspect. But the company who owns the ship paid the fine. Right? Allegedly entering French territory. It was they boarded the ship and sailed it into French territory. But the French think they're clever, but everybody knows, right? Who has the last laugh is the one who gets the laugh the loudest. Now, Steve Witkoff has announced that he's been able to get the sides to talk to agree to how, right? They're going to get to the how, what, when, whys, to end this war. But he's been able to get them and keep them talking. But not all is good. Now, Zelensky urges US negotiators not to give victory to Russia, but he has no choice. Russia's not asking for land. They're telling you what they've taken and not giving back. And, of course, Jared Kushner and others cannot force the Ukraine to accept, right? And Ukraine is saying, you can't make me, like a fucking child. Pardon my French, but this guy is a child, right? He's petulant, right? He's bleating, you can't make me, you can't make me. Well, Russia's made you, okay? Russia's kicking in the balls, walk it off, you've lost, accept that you've lost, right? The match is over, but he wants to take his ball and go home and declare victory, right? And say, it wasn't a real match, I'm going to get you next time. I'm going to get you next time. I'm going to get you, Gadget. Give victory to Russia. Russia's not been given victory. They earned victory, and you just can't accept, all right? Instead, you just got to cope and seethe, right? But he's saying the quiet part out loud that his people won't accept it. Well, you and your peeps can go stand on the front line, you wouldn't last 2 minutes, And what a shame that they aren't forced to stand on the front line and fight for a lot of kids. They don't want to die for Ukraine, and I don't blame them. Right? They have nothing to gain. There's nothing worth defending in Ukraine. So F-16 in Ukraine have been, not all, are being flown by NATO pilots, but the French have admitted that Ukraine, United States, and Dutch veterans are flying the F-16s in the skies above Kiev. These are pilots assembled to defend Ukraine's airspace. Right, I have to get an article. Apparently, it says it's free, but then they got offers, right? But yeah, here's the part, right? Shortly after the F-16s arrived, right, they began air defense missions. They had a few botches, which resulted in 4 incidents, which have been acknowledged, but there have been allegedly 6 in total. But this secret foreign squadron has been, they've now admitted that their advanced technology, they're using the CUS short-range missile system to basically lock onto and fire drones in a look-down, shoot-down scenario. But in the war against Russia, the Dutch Air Force has been part of the intelligence planning, and it goes beyond the assistance package, that in fact foreign personnel are participating in the war, which is why they won't release the names of the dead pilots. But of course there's also mercenaries in their military ranks. Now this says 20,000, yet according to the study of war, it's 200,000 right? There's 600,000 Ukrainians and 200,000 mercenaries. So yeah, according to Russia, this makes them a participant in the war, and an undeclared war is against international law. This is what they were talking about: the illegal war by LBJ in Laos, right, which they pinned onto Nixon because he was an idiot who told everybody about it, and then they just 6 months later, all the public could think about was Nixon, Laos, 1 + 1 = 2. Yeah, right. Okay, so negotiations will begin, right? By day, Russia bombs Ukraine, and by night they tell them they have to give up land, and Ukraine is tearing their hair out. But that's the reality, right? It's carrot and a stick, right? Within the next couple of hours, the definitive end goal, right? It will be known to Ukraine, right? And that Moscow has said that Ukraine is engaged in energy blackmail, that Ukraine has said if you withdraw, we'll stop attacking your Russian gas and oil, and we'll allow gas and oil to flow to Hungary again. So blackmail. But sooner or later, like Poland, of course, no morality. There's no. You don't see people taking a principled stand. No, there's no morality. They don't choose poverty. They choose gluttony, right? Gluttony, avarice. But the war is coming to an end, whether they like it or not. Both sides realize that the United States, they need it, right? They need the US. They don't need Europe. And particularly Russia is willing to make a deal without compromise, right? So, which is hard to do, right? You're going to have to compromise, but I think the compromise is that they don't want to appear to have compromised, which means they can't backpedal on any of the land they've taken, but they have to have something, right? So we'll see. But they have to give something, because otherwise there's nothing to deal with, right? There's no carrot, right? Ukraine needs a carrot more than ever. The Ukrainian economy is in crisis. You will know this, and sooner or later they are going to collapse, right? There's no saving Ukraine. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please support the channel and support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon. Buy my books, buy my merch. I appreciate each and every one of you. See you in the next video, and bye for now.